What's going on, guys? It's Corsi from Gaming Legit. Got some more Gears of War 3 footage for you. Today we're going to be talking about some in-game decisions as you watch this video. Gnasher versus sawed-off shotgun. I'm also going to bring in the retro lancer. Kind of a controversial topic because people are really pissed about this. People using sawed-off and retro. But we'll get to that straight into the gameplay. And so these are key moments to be able to look at the map, and then while you're looking at this map, it's loading, and then it shows the spawned power weapons at that time. So you see that there's going to be a long shot, and there's going to be a boomer, and of course there's going to be frag grenades or incinerator grenades, and those are going to be located pretty much the same spot every single time. You kind of get adjusted to the maps very quickly. Gears of War maps tend to be pretty small, and so you'll catch on to where the power weapons are. One thing I will point out that I'm kind of bummed out about is that there's no timer. In Halo, there's a timer countdown for the game, and there is one for this game. I know that the games only last a certain length of time. I really don't know how long because there's not a timer, and I don't keep track of it. But I do know if the game is going too long, it will start doing a countdown, which will yield a draw if the two people, or if two teams are equivalent with lives left. But there is a man win rule now, where if you have one more person than the other team, you will actually get the win, which is also pretty bad because then you'll have teams that will just camp the last remaining seconds, and they'll just hide with their shotguns around corners waiting, or with power weapons waiting for the desperate team that's behind the lead to run in to try to win the game, because if they're down one man, then they'll lose inevitably. I think it's a pretty bad move to put into the game. They should have left it where if there's people still left, then it's going to be a draw, regardless if you have one more person or not, because then the two teams are going to be fighting for each other non-stop. And then the time. Halo's got time. It keeps track of time, so you can keep track of important things like when weapons are going to spawn. But in Gears of War, they don't have that. So those are a couple things I wish that Gears had implemented into Gears of War 3 for sure. Alright, so we're going to start a bit of a discussion between the sawed-off and the Gnasher. It's probably going to do some rage on the channel, but hopefully we can amount to a certain level of respect. Please leave comments also to this discussion, anything really Gears related to the comments below this video. The big difference for Gaming Legit versus some of these other channels that talk about random life stuff rather than actual in-game gameplay and some tactics and strategy and stuff like that, is that we kind of have a little bit of a community going on for Gaming Legit, and people, this is, we all share this hobby, and so we all relate to each other. We like talking and discussing video games, and so if you have a 2 cents you want to put or have, and you want to share it with the rest of the world, get some opinion on it and stuff like that, please leave it in the comments underneath this video. It's almost like a mini forum basically for Gaming Legit, and so that's the way I like to see the comments underneath the videos be used, so please do so. Anyways, on to the sawed-off versus the Gnasher shotgun. Now, the sawed-off has so much hate pinned up against the weapon just because it is, frankly, it's super easy to use. You got to use it tactically in a certain sense, like you can't start shooting the weapon from large distances and rush in on people camping with it, because you'll get killed. The sawed-off is not like a guaranteed kill no matter what. It's not so easy mode that you can void out any other strategy and just sprint for an immediate kill. It doesn't work that way. You have to have some support and stability at where you are, and hiding around a corner or something like that in preparation for someone to run at you. We're also going to talk about the retro lancer, which is also something that people hate as an addition to this game versus the lancer, just because probably because of the damage it deals out versus the lancer, how much shots you have to put onto someone with the lancer. They're just not used to getting those immediate kills like the sawed-off shotgun yields. So the first thing we're talking about in comparison to the Gnasher and the sawed-off shotgun is the range. Now, the Gnasher has the same ability as the sawed-off shotgun in that it can just obliterate someone at about the same distance that the sawed-off shotgun becomes lethal. And that's very important, because people assume that the sawed-off shotgun is so easy. No, this was a nice smoke grenade trap, by the way, to stun this guy so we can obliterate him. I recommend that you start using your grenades like that, especially on key power weapon points where people are really rushing and trying to capture that long shot, boom shot, whatever it is. Kind of set up a trap and wait for those guys to kind of show up to try to get those power weapons. Make them play your game. But the Gnasher Shotgun becomes a one-shot lethal kill, about the same range as the sawed-off shotgun is a one-shot kill. And so right there, that on its own is kind of an interesting argument to kind of really diagnose and think about. This is kind of a glitch, because I was looking straight up into the air, but the arc got actually smaller, which doesn't make any sense. And right there too, I look straight up in the air and it shoots, only like 2 feet in front of me. It's kind of messed up. There's a little bit of fine tuning in this game that could be tweaked, I should say. It's leaps beyond Gears of 1 and Gears of War 2, but it's not flawless game by any means. There's still like several things in this game that I think that should be fixed, and a lot of Gears veterans are complaining about, other than the actual weapons. Anyways, so the Gnasher and the sawed-off have about the same lethal range, but the Gnasher, you can start putting shots on guys from like 15 feet, 20 feet away, and you could be dealing some damage out with the Gnasher. Now, the Gnasher is a hit or miss. It's very weird, and I don't get it, and that's probably the main reason why I revert to the sawed-off shotgun, because I know what a kill is for the sawed-off shotgun. There's no arguing against it. It's pretty easy to pin out. If you're within a certain distance and your aim, the spread for the sawed-off shotgun is huge too. And if there's a certain distance away from you and you're facing the right angle when you pull the trigger, it should yield a kill. You know that it's going to yield a kill. For the Gnasher shotgun, like yesterday morning, for example, I was playing some Gears of War, and I was completely tearing people apart with the Gnasher shotgun. I mean, just obliterating them point blank, even up to like 6 feet, 7 feet away with the Gnasher shotgun. I was getting a one-shot kill with the shotgun, just like you would with the saw-off. And I was trying to get some recordings to go. See, guys, the Gnasher does the same exact thing, but the difference is the Gnasher's spray is a lot more refined. It doesn't have such a big spray hit radius. You have to be a lot more refined with your hip shot with the Gnasher shotgun. Same thing with the zoom, because you can actually zoom with the Gnasher shotgun too. Thank you, teammate, for reviving me. Teammates don't do that enough, I swear to God. I don't know what it is on XBL, but people like to play independently. There's a whole bunch of new Gears of War fans, I think it is, and so there's guys that never played this game before, and so they don't really, I don't know, they're just kind of new to the game, so they're still worried about their own lives, so they're always scared that they're going to get killed if they go try to help a team or something like that. I don't know, just some in-game decisions are different from the mature veterans of Gears of War versus the people that haven't played for a while. I'm not pretending to be one of those, though, because I haven't played this game before, other than Gears of War 3. Anyways, if you look at the damage rating for the sawed-off versus the Gnasher, the Gnasher is 1 bar less than the sawed-off shotgun. Now, that is a big difference, you know, since there's only like 7 bars or measurement bars of damage, so it's a bit different if, you know, there's like 20 bars and, you know, there's 1 bar difference. But at that same point too, the Gnasher deals out a lot of damage, and so within a couple shots you should be downing people, and so that builds into the inconsistency, and I think that's why people turn to the sawed-off. Like, I've been watching a lot of Blame Truth's Gears of War. He uses sawed-off. He hasn't been touching the Gnasher, and the argument is the same thing. It's inconsistent. There's no consistency to the freaking weapon. One game you'll just completely tear people apart, and you'll just blow everybody out of the water. You'll be like 14-0. Like, I wasn't recording, and I mentioned this to my wife the other day. I went 15-0 on a game I was using the Gnasher shotgun and the normal Lancer, just to try to get a recording for, you know, the people that are really bummed out and kind of peeved that I'm using the sawed-off and the retro Lancer, the 2 new weapons to the series that are kind of deemed as noobish. And I completely obliterated the enemy team. It's like they couldn't even do anything to fight against me. It was almost like I had some crazy host. It was weird. I've never had that situation duplicated again while playing online. I was just almost invincible. It was just crazy. But the next game or later, a couple hours later, you know, after lunch, you know, trying to get some recordings, I'll go, hey man, he's like, I figured out the Gnasher shotgun. Let's go tear up some people. I couldn't get a single kill with the weapon. You know, from the exact same ranges that I was getting kills before, I wasn't able to get anything. It was very, very weird. There's no consistency. I mean, I've walked up to guys that are point blank hugging against a wall, you know, kind of peeking over top of the other side, so they have no idea that I'm coming up on them other than possibly some sound cues. And I shoot the dude point blank in the face, and he pops off the wall, and he shoots me, and I shoot him again, so I got 2 shots on the guy, and one of them was while he was hugged against the wall, and the guy one-shots me from like 7 feet away with the Gnasher shotgun. So the inconsistency alone in the Gnasher Shotgun is really what pushes a lot of people to sawed-off, and I don't blame them. You shouldn't have to deal with that in an online game. It's just like, why do you have to go around and you know, pretend like no, I'm legit because I'm using this the Gnasher Shotgun, even though you're gonna get killed over and over and over because of the inconsistencies of the weapon. You shouldn't have to deal with that. It's a stupid argument. And so that's that. You know, that's a lot of the reason why people use the sawed-off. And that's not making excuses. It's just, come on, we're trying to enjoy the online experience. You don't want to mess around with a gun that works half of the time. It's very, very weird. So what are the differences here? Their lethal range is about the same. The sawed-off shotgun maybe a little bit higher of a lethal range as far as the spread goes, but as far as a one-shot with the Gnasher, from what I've experienced, it varies. But I think it's safe to say that at the same distance that you obliterate someone with the sawed-off shotgun, you should obliterate someone with the Gnasher. The damage rating, the weapons are pretty similar, but the sawed-off is a little bit more powerful. Go figure. That's why it's, you know, obliterates people. But as far as the inconsistencies, really push people to the sawed-off. But there is a significant skill difference, so I'm not going to argue against this. You know, the skills needed to use a sawed-off shotgun are minimal. Very, very minimal. I'm not going to argue against that. It is pretty much an easy mode weapon to use, without a doubt. The Gnasher takes a lot more skill. You know, one of the biggest things I have problems with in the game is the zoom difference. So when you go to zoom in, since you're zooming in over your shoulder, sometimes the perspectives get messed up a little bit, and it's really hard to, you know, the term I like to, or that I've heard a bit is like, picture it like quick scope and like sniping, where you zoom in and you strafe your weapon, the shotgun, the Gnasher in this case, over top of the target, pull the trigger, and do that over and over until you get the kill. I understand that, but it didn't work for me. Oh, I'm just curious if I won this battle or not. Nope, I get obliterated by the sawed-off shotgun, even though we shot at the same time. So again, another inconsistency. So I'm not going to argue against the fact that the Gnasher shotgun is by far more skill-based, because you have to, you know, aim with the weapon, you have to roll. The spray is a lot tighter, so you have to be a lot more accurate with it. But you can shoot from the hip. You know, I'm not saying that this is another thing too, is that people assume that the sawed-off shotgun, you have to spray from the hip. You can't zoom in with the weapon. There's no arguing that. But the Gnasher shotgun, you do the same thing. I mean, if you go watch like some tutorials on how to use the Gnasher shotgun, or watch some MLG pros, they shoot largely from the hip too. Yes, they do zoom in. I'm not going to argue against that. But they also shoot from the hip, and you can completely obliterate people the same way you can with the sawed-off shotgun, sitting behind a wall, waiting for them to pop around the corner, and you just do one of those pop shots around the corner, and you'll blow them to pieces. I don't have too much more time, but just the couple things I'll point out for the Retro Lancer versus the Lancer, and I think the biggest reason why people absolutely hate the Retro Lancer and think it's a noobish weapon is because the Lancer takes so much freaking time to kill somebody. I mean, you'll put half a clip into a dude before he falls over, which is just kind of retarded to me. I mean, I do love this game, but I think it's a little bit over the top with the amount of time and amount of damage you have to deal in with the inconsistency with the Gnasher. It seems like sometimes you'll put like 8 shots into a guy before he falls over, and a bunch of people support that. Like I said, Wings of Redemption and Blame Truth, those are the 2 people I've been watching that are playing Gears. They all complain about the same thing. And that's that inconsistency with the Gnasher shotgun. But the Retro Lancer, it kills people pretty fast. I mean, in comparison to the Lancer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people complain about, you know, oh, it's easy mode because it gets kills a lot faster. It's like, no, it just makes the game funner because I'm not spending 15 minutes with the Lancer shooting at one guy waiting for him to down as he rolls away and rolls away. Because that's the constant game you're playing in Gears of War, is that you start shooting at someone, and if the Lancer especially takes forever to put anybody down, if you're not playing with a team and you're, you know, trying to get some kills, you know, with yourself, trying to work with your team slightly, chances are like 90% of the guys that you start shooting at are going to get away. They're going to roll away across the whole map. And there's been some times where a guy is rolled like literally across the entire map while you're shooting at him with the Lancer, and you can't put the guy down. Or the Retro Lancer is kind of the resolve for that situation, where The Retro Lancer, if you're going to be getting up close or I'm moving up on someone, I'm going to put you down with the Retro Lancer, and that's how the game I think should be played. And so the big turnoff for the Retro Lancer is that people are so adjusted to the Lancer that now the Retro Lancer seems cheap because it puts people down so fast. I have seen some videos where the Retro Lancer shot from the hip is absolutely devastating. I haven't played around with that personally. I don't know if they fixed that, so that could be a problem, but either way, that's kind of my 2 cents on the sawed-off versus the Gnasher, and a little bit about the Retro versus the Lancer. And maybe in another video I'll talk about the Retro and the Lancer. But I think the Battlefield 3 beta comes out tomorrow for the Medal of Honor people. So I'll probably take a little bit of a hiatus while I'm recording a shit ton of videos for Battlefield 3, so look forward to that. In any case, if you haven't seen my previous Gears of War video, it's the first one. It's a little bit rough, but still it's some content for you guys to check out, so click on the video. Also subscribe, tell your friends, join the Facebook for further in-game discussions, and there's some recommendations for videos I've produced in the past. Catch you guys later. Peace.